Alright, so last week we watched War Room and we presently enjoyed it. It was our first Kendrick Brother, okay, not our first Kendrick Brother movie. We did watch Overcomer, but it was the first most hyped movie that I have heard throughout my life that I've never watched, Christian movie specifically, and we fairly enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I really did enjoy that movie, and I'm excited to see what this has to bring.
Okay, so what are our expectations?
For the film, I think because this is a newer film, I think I am expecting for the quality of the film to be better. It says drama, so I'm not expecting it to be really funny. But I'm also expecting it maybe to speak about more modern day problems, in a way that young people can really connect with.
I haven't really watched The Forge. I know that we watched the trailer of the movie, and I did not like watching the trailer because it felt like it gave the whole movie away. So, like, I stopped watching the trailer midway because I was like, okay, I don't want to spoil the whole movie. But I do have a friend who watched The Forge, and she said that it was life changing. Someone else was like, it's
life changing. Life changing is a strong word. People use that.
I was wondering, is he overhyping this? Because this is a newer Christian movie that everybody's just like, wow, it's life changing. I know that the main protagonist is 19 years old, which is very close to our age, not to expose our age. And so, like, I'm very curious to see what they're gonna target. I know that it's about a young man, and he's something to do with manhood and something like that. So I don't know how relatable it will be towards us since we're two girls watching this movie. But I'm hoping that it'll be very it will tackle universal topics that we can all relate to. And I'm very excited. What are you looking forward to the most?
I'm just excited to see how everything's gonna play out. Like, is it gonna tie together a while? I'm excited to see the storyline.
Okay, me too. So let's watch the video.
It's a nice score. Just needs to be fixed.
Ooh, that's cool. You like the car?
Nice.
Your grandfather drove
Would you
it?
buy it?
Yeah, I would. If we want it fixed.
I was not okay with it. She's beautiful.
Danielle, oh my goodness, I did not know.
It's the same actress from War Room.
Oh,
She's just way
older,
bigger.
yeah,
I still think they should do that War Room movie part 2. So, like, if you guys don't know, after we watch War Room, I gave the suggestion of, like, they could do a War Room part 2 by following, like, the daughter's life as a teenager or college student, and, like, showing her journey and struggles there, and how she's gonna use prayer to overcome her struggles, etc.
Yeah.
So I still think they could do it.
I really think so. They use the same actors twice, they can do it thrice. Daddy.
Yeah, I love it.
Like, these are twins.
I think they're doing the Liv and Maddie thing of, like, one person is like pretending to be Priscilla too.
But in this universe, are these two women twins?
Is this the sister? Is this the sister that we're talking about? Because they're gonna lose their job. That's actually smart writing. That's actually beautiful writing. That's actually
to it now.
No, I don't think I only caught up to this now. Okay, that's a good review. Oh my god, so glad we watched War Room before watching this. So us wouldn't have appreciated any of this.
So good to see you. It has been
so husband was right. It was just gonna keep on happening. That I was like having sympathy in War Room. I kept having sympathy. I was like, oh, maybe the husband really is trying. This economy is just hard. And now we know, nope. He is exactly what we thought he was.
They did a good job of selling how young he is, though.
He's have to go back for his key card. Abo.
Inspirational music. They always add inspirational music whenever they have a conversation, and it makes it so inspiring. It makes me want to go out tomorrow and be like,
I'm gonna be a better person.
I was just saying I'm gonna be a better man. I was like, no, never mind. We're gonna be better women.
Just trying to keep up.
I didn't expect to be very young men here too. I was really expecting either papas. maybe people in their 30s and maybe like someone in the late 20s.
Yeah, me too. I didn't think
teenagers.
I didn't actually think it was gonna be young boys.
They really did say, okay, we're reaching out. We're making disciples of every nation, every age.
Wow, that young boy over there with the hands in pockets, he's so confident.
It is.
He's been mentored by him.
What's up, Zay?
The emotions are so real in this movie.
My feelings, my choice.
This movie is hitting too much. I don't like this. Wow. My handwriting would be too horrible to ever give it to someone. They'll be struggling to read a single page.
Nobody just leaves it to his outfit.
Encourage one another.
His
Keep each
outfit
other
started
accountable.
changing. I just realized that his style
Because
of
the longer that
dressing.
we try to walk it alone, the
Wow.
harder it gets.
Dat dan he's a truck driver. Dat dan he's a truck driver. Dat dan he was a the truck driver. Don't tell me he was a truck driver. Don't
I
tell
didn't
me.
even think of this movie is surprising
Oh
me.
wow, wait.
Oh, this movie is making me go through cha. Wow.
He's looking at you, little friend, but let me hear you out.
Yeah, let me hear you out.
It's a Mustang. Yeah, it is. It's a vintage
Whoa.
Mustang. So beautiful.
If you like the color,
I do.
you would want this.
I want to take it. Yeah, some people get
Message
the
to people
easy
from-
way, inherited from their parents.
You could email the Forge for the car.
7 years.
The confidence, but not the
Ooh.
arrogance.
Oh, that was unauthorized.
So that's bold, that's crazy, that might not even be stupid. Oh,
Now, let's be bolder.
Sorry.
Now
I
don't
just
push
loaded
it.
up.
I'll be like, Brad, I feel like if you said 10 years, I'll be like, Zai, you forgot your phone. Performances are so beautiful. Like, you can feel the emotions in this. Oh my god.
I love this.
Oh my, yo, this is the feels. This woman is like, not a job done.
Love them with the truth. Let's take them to Jesus. Who's with me?
Oh, we are. Oh, this is epic.
It was.
This was okay.
So fluids.
So we just watched Wogun. What? I said it so confidently. Sorry. So we just watched The Forge, and that was incredible. I loved every second
Me
of it.
too.
The quality, the humor. This would have been okay. I don't know if we call this comedy elements. It was impactful. It was adventurous. I like how character driven it was and how impactful it was. And one of the things that I really loved about this movie is how emotionally attached you get to it.
That's true.
It gets you in the feels, which is something that I was having to fight and wrestle with myself constantly to be like, okay, because it was getting much very quickly. But each and every emotional scene delivered, from the actors' performances, from the music choices, and the story overall, they got you. And one of the things I also loved the most was the natural dialogue.
Yes.
The dialogue, and like even when it was breaking down, when it was praying, it always felt natural.
Even the explanations when he's giving advice, you also feel like sometimes feels like too fake in this sense, like you're just like quoting a Bible verse and all of this. Like you say, it doesn't feel natural. But it just felt like, oh, he really is just talking to Isaiah, and that in turn made it feel like, oh, I'm in the movie though.
Yeah.
It didn't feel. You felt so sucked into it. It didn't feel like I'm just watching something. You're experiencing it. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
No, I completely agree. I think it felt like someone that you would know in your life, who you were just having a conversation with. And I think if you went straight to Isaiah and was like, hey, young boy, you need to change. Especially being African, I think a lot of times, sometimes some people come about you quite aggressively, like, change, or like hit you, be aggressive. And I think if he got that, he would have, like I said, become defensive, like how I mentioned in the movie. But he came quite gently, but it was still stern. Like, it wasn't like, oh, okay, you're disrespectful. No. Like, the way he would speak to him, he was speaking like, like an older mentor, like a friend, like a father figure to him. And I think that's what made him listen to him the most, his approach to things.
Also, after he listened to Isaiah, like he asked him how he's going through, let him speak. Even when Isaiah was angry, he didn't say, no, don't be angry, believe in the Lord. No. He let him explain how he's feeling. He let him relate to it too, to be like, I understand how you're feeling and so forth. Not just like brushing over his feelings or anything like that. I really like that part.
I also like how patient he was, because he didn't throw everything all at once at Isaiah. Like, I think if he was in a hurry and in a rush, like I know in War Room, the grandma prayed, okay, God, like, help me, Lord, because we assumed it was because he was like, okay, I don't want to come off too strong, But I like how he took his time. Like, you can tell he's very experienced in this. Like, he took his time to be like, okay, you know what, I'm going to just tell this guy we're gonna go out for coffee, and then went out for coffee. Slowly introduced him to like biblical themes without necessarily saying it from the Bible. Then he would say, okay, this, like, read a scripture from the Bible. Then he invited him to the forge, like the men's like group, basically support group. I think if he rushed it and from the beginning was like, be saved, receive Jesus, male support group, Isaiah would have not come back.
Too much. I love that. Honestly, I wish I can also develop in that skill. I think it's a really important skill of evangelizing in day-to-day lives with average people, not just like, of course, evangelism is very important, and when people hand out pamphlets and stuff, but like, I think it's a good representation of how we can evangelize to people in our workplace, people we meet on a daily basis, people are not necessarily Christian at first. The way he did it, slowly by slowly. I love that part so much.
I think that's also a sign of maturity and experience, like I mentioned. Like, I think he realized, okay, this is a kid now, and this kid's quite stubborn and rebellious. Let me lure him in, offer him a job. Say it's just coffee. Say I'll just be talking to you, mentoring you in the workplace, and slowly integrate the word that way. I think that's a more smart way to approach things. Then how typically we can just like shout at someone and be like, receive Jesus. That's not how it works. So and he received it on his own. Another thing that I really like about this movie is how he walked in example. Like, he was always respectful, not just to older people, but to Isaiah himself. And I think that's something that I think a lot of older people can sometimes forget, that, young people, yes, they're young. And yes, young people should always respect their elders. There's no exception. But at the same time, young people also want respect. And they want somebody, I think a lot of young people, especially teenagers, they desire just to be heard and understood and to be accepted. And a lot of young teenagers struggle listening to older figures because they don't feel understood, they don't feel accepted, and they don't feel respected. So, because he established that from the get-go, of being accepting to him, he didn't just force him to change. Respecting him, calling him by his name, not being like, you silly boy, you stupid boy. The fact that he listened and took time to hear his view, like you mentioned, I think those are the things that captivate him to respecting more and to want to hear him out. Because, if you want someone to listen to you, you should also be willing to listen to them.
Yeah, and that's what I love, because remember he said treat others like you want to be treated, and he did it with Isaiah. Even though Isaiah was still with that him in the beginning, he still greeted him respectfully. He still took time to listen to him. He wasn't like, oh, you're not giving me eye contact, I'm not going to give you eye contact in the situation. He kept it fair no matter how hard it was. Especially harder to do to someone who's younger than you. Isaiah was unemployed. You could basically say there was no reason to respect him, the world's view. But he did it anyways. I think that was...
Which speaks volumes. Because you could have easily looked down on Isaiah like, do you know who you're talking to? You're talking to me, the president. But by doing that, yes, it makes you feel good. Then what? You lost the person. But I think by him, I feel like, because Jesus calls us to be loving to people even if they hate us, even if they're rude to us. He calls us to respect and honor people even if they don't respect and honor us. And I think he was a great display of that. And I think that's what he was craving for. And when he felt honored and respected, that's how he could also return that honor and respect back to him.
Yeah. I also love the part where the whole time I kept on waiting for the dad to come back, say he repeated the how, and I think I love that that didn't happen, because I think it was just a little bit more on the realistic side. Of course, the dad could become saved, but I think it wasn't just like, okay, now I wrote it, or I forgave him 2 days later, he's back and all that stuff. You know, that can happen in some people's situations. I do admire that part. It also shows that, Isaiah didn't hold on to it. It wasn't like, my dad never responded to the letter. Now I'm going to be bitter again or anything. He so chose to forgive.
Wow. I didn't even think about that. That's actually a good point. That's actually a really good point. Like, now that you mention it, I was like, I even forgot about the dad thing. But I think that somebody could be like, okay, but there's no point. He apologized, but then the dad didn't come back at the end. I like the fact they didn't make the movie perfect. I think sometimes it can be discouraging when Christian movies can be too perfect. And then when things don't come the way, like, for example, in a Christian movie, if you see that people praying, fasting, and they still don't get the answered prayer, maybe the person still passed away, maybe the person's still sick. It can be discouraging. It can be quite encouraging, actually, to show that sometimes it's you forgiving the person, you doing all these sacrifices doesn't always equal God's gonna automatically, like, you're gonna get everything you want, if that makes sense.
Or the person's gonna change.
Or the person's gonna change. You forgiving the person is you honoring God and you letting it go from your heart. You healing your heart. You're letting yourself move on. But if the other person still wants to stay in that pit, it's not your job to take them out of that pit. And I like how you kept on mentioning, I really gave it to the Lord. I really gave it to the Lord. And I think that this movie displayed that perfectly. I think the dad did come towards the end like we expected it. We did expect it in the movie, but if he did come at the end, I think we would have lost a bit of that meaning of him letting it go. Because they would have been like, okay, you got that instant. Because, you know, we live in a generation of instant gratification. If we forgive someone, we want the next day for that person to realize how wrong they are. And then for them to be like, oh, you were so right. You know, I think that's our flesh. And that's this generation's instant gratification. But realistically, it doesn't always end up like that. And I like how he wasn't pursuing that. Like, he wasn't obsessed with his dad.
And I think that shows how much he grew from it too. He didn't let the dad thing take over in his life and his thoughts or anything like that. I think that was, I love that part too. It was like a subtle type of change. So it made also felt kind of more realistic because of that. But of course, he still thought about it from time to time. That's why the mentor would ask about it.
I also like the fact that throughout the movie you could see his wardrobe change. I'm not saying that his wardrobe at the beginning was bad. It was normal. It wasn't bad clothes. But like I didn't even notice his wardrobe change. That's how beautiful it is. Like you didn't like there was a lot of the things that he started changing and adapting that it was hard for me to keep up with it because it was so subtle and so small. Then when Kisia mentioned that, like, to that woman, it came as a shock, like they couldn't even recognize him. But to us, we got to slowly see that progress. That's what was hard for us to see the change. But to other people, this was out of nowhere. To his mom, she was like, who are you? You know, mowing the lawn, getting me out for dinner, you know? But he slowly developed that. It took a whole year. And I like that question he asked at the beginning, you know, what was his questions again?
His question was, before it was really I think 5 years, but like, what do you want to grow in the next year, or was it change in the next year? It was, what type of man do you want to be, and how do you want people to see you? I'm pretty sure those were the 3 questions.
And I like how I even forgot about those questions. Then when a year passed, I was like, oh, it happened. And I think it's one of those beautiful things of like, if you have to be obsessed with, okay, tomorrow I have to be a new man and change all my habits, you get discouraged. But I like the fact that it took a year and we didn't even think, like, it wasn't a main focus of the movie to remind you that, okay, he wants to be a new man. It wasn't the main focus. He just kept on making tiny little decisions, little changes, and then he ended up being that man, which is actually quite encouraging to me because it reminds me of, like, you know, trust the process or go through the process. Like, it can be discouraging if I tell myself, okay, I'm going to be someone who exercises regularly, or I'm going to be a very fit gym junkie. You're going to be tired and you're going to feel discouraged. But if I tell myself, okay, today I'm going to take a 20-minute walk. And then, today I'm going to do 2 push-ups. And then you find yourself next year and you're that gym junkie you wanted to be. So I liked how that was very smoothly. Like they showed that quite well, that process.
Yeah, I do like that. I think that is like our dad likes to say, it's about like making small goals. You start with small goals, and then you try to accomplish those. Instead of making a long list of those things, it's just discouraging at the end of the day when you look at how far I did, how much I didn't do. So you should be looking at how far I've come, and I think that is super important. I think it really is. I think because our people can get distracted with like the big change, like I want to look this certain way by next year.
Yeah.
And then they end up skipping a lot of steps. Because you're gonna be like, I want people to respect me, let me how you get another job so I can be a big man or whatever.
Yeah.
You could have done something like that, but with the small, let me work on just myself, which is
Yeah, let me just work on cleaning my room. Okay, let me work on making sacrifices. So he took out these video games. Let me work, like, he made these little decisions that slowly but surely he made him a better man at the end. And I like the fact that he apologized at the end because he didn't have to.
Yeah, I didn't even remember.
Like, if somebody said, I don't even remember, I'd be like, okay, bye, since you don't even remember. But he was like, you know what? I'm gonna be that type of person to apologize anyways, whether you remember or not. I think that showed a lot of growth in his character and a lot of humility.
Because a lot of humility.
It takes a lot of humility, and those women staring would also be me because I'd be like, wow, that's a very bold move, and that makes a wonderful impression. And if in future, if he ever does want to date the girl or pursue the girl, the dad will have so much more respect for him because he knows that this man has a good character. Yeah. All right. So I think that's all for today. We'll see you in the next one.